Okay, let's talk about something that's absolutely fundamental for anyone who's ambitious, anyone who's trying to build something amazing. We're going to dive into how to stop treating your health like an afterthought and start using it as your single greatest asset for success that actually lasts.
So, does this sound familiar? You're chasing success, you're hitting your goals, you're climbing that ladder, but you are just exhausted. You're completely running on fumes, feeling stressed, and you're pretty sure you're just one bad week away from hitting a wall. If that's you, you're in exactly the right place.
And here's the thing. That feeling, it's not just in your head. It is a predictable outcome. This quote just nails it, right? It's the trap so many of us fall into. We sacrifice our sleep, our nutrition, our well-being for a quick win, not realizing we're giving up the entire marathon just to look good in the first 100 meters. It's a strategy that is fundamentally broken.
Which brings us to the very real and very high cost of burnout. And we're not just talking about feeling a little tired. We're talking about the actual damage it does to our health, our relationships, and the very success we were chasing in the first place.
So when you boil it all down, you're really looking at two different paths you can take. First, you've got the burnout path. Yeah, it's tempting, you get those short-term results, but it is fueled by stress and it always leads to a dead end. Then you've got the sustainable path. This one's about consistent energy, real well-being, and building a foundation for success that's going to last a lifetime.
And to even get on that sustainable path, we have to totally redefine what health even means. It's not just about not being sick, right? It's an active state. It's about complete physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So think of it less like something in the background and more like the actual engine that powers everything you do.
So, how do we build that engine? Our whole strategy is built on 4 key pillars. We're going to start with the absolute foundation, nutrition. This is the fuel for your body and your brain.
So, why does this matter so much? It's simple, really. The food you eat translates directly into your performance. The right fuel isn't just about feeling a little better. It's about getting a measurable boost in your focus, your creativity, your energy. It is a direct return on investment. And one of the simplest but most powerful pieces of this whole puzzle is just hydration. I mean, even being slightly dehydrated can totally tank your cognitive function. That's why this target, 2 to 3 liters of water every day, is an absolute non-negotiable for keeping your brain firing on all cylinders. Now, getting started doesn't have to be some huge, complicated thing. You can focus on these 3 simple steps. 1. Prioritize whole, unprocessed foods. 2. Cut back on all that sugar and junk food that just leads to energy crashes. And 3. Kickstart your day with a solid, balanced breakfast. Super simple, totally actionable, and you will feel the effects immediately. Okay, so once our fuel is sorted, we're moving on to pillar 2. And this is an area that so many of us neglect in the name of hustle. It's the power of recovery. This covers exercise and, maybe most importantly, sleep. Because here's the secret. Peak performance doesn't happen when you're working. It happens when you're recovering. And let's be really clear about something. Exercise is not a chore. It's not punishment. It is a high-yield investment. Every single session pays you back with dividends in better physical health, sharper mental clarity, and a much more stable, positive mood. It is one of the best stress management tools on the planet.
And just like any good investment portfolio, you want to be diversified. A balanced routine isn't just about one thing. It's a smart mix of cardio for your heart health, strength training to build a solid foundation, and flexibility work to keep you mobile and prevent injuries.
Now for the other half of recovery, and I really want this to sink in. Sleep is not a luxury. It is not for the weak. It is a biological necessity for high performance. Sacrificing your sleep is like trying to run a modern software company on a dial-up modem. It just doesn't work. It's obsolete thinking. So what's the magic number? Well, the science on this is incredibly clear. You're aiming for 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night. That's the sweet spot where your brain cleans itself out, consolidates memories, and basically recharges for the next day. That's your target. And hey, if you struggle with getting that sleep, here are a few absolute game changers. Keeping a consistent schedule, even on weekends, trains your body's clock. Ditching the screens an hour before bed stops that blue light from messing with your sleep hormones. And trying out some relaxation techniques can really help quiet that racing mind that keeps so many of us staring at the ceiling.
Okay, so we've fueled the body, we've recovered it. Now it's time for pillar 3. This is where we master the operating system that runs the whole show, your mindset. This is all about managing your inner state.
And the biggest enemy of a healthy mindset is chronic, unmanaged stress. I mean, this quote really says it all. It's not just a bad feeling. It is a corrosive acid that eats away at your health, tanks your productivity, and can seriously damage your most important relationships, both at work and at home.
So how do we fight back? With a simple, daily routine. Just a few minutes of mindfulness can build your focus like a muscle. Scheduling actual breaks, and I mean really stepping away from your desk, prevents that mental burnout. And getting out for a walk in nature, that can literally lower the stress hormones in your body.
See, the goal here is to build up your mental clarity and your emotional balance, because these aren't just fluffy, nice-to-have things. They are the absolute keys to resilience. They're what allow you to handle setbacks, make clear-headed decisions under pressure, and stay creative when things get tough.
Building this kind of mental fitness is an active process. Things like keeping a gratitude journal actually rewire your brain to notice the positive. Practicing self-compassion, well, that protects you from your own worst critic. And knowing when to ask for support, that isn't weakness. That is a sign of incredible strength.
This all brings us to our final and maybe the most important pillar of all, integration. Because look, it's not enough to just know about nutrition and exercise and mindset. You have to build a system that weaves them into the fabric of your actual life.
And a good place to start is by throwing out that old idea of work-life balance. Forget the perfect 50-50 split. It doesn't exist. A much better model is intentional allocation. It's about consciously deciding where your time and energy go, and that includes to your family, your hobbies, and yourself. And then protecting that time with firm boundaries.
So here's the practical takeaway. You have to treat your well-being with the same seriousness you treat your work. Block out time for self-care on your calendar. Set a hard stop for your workday and stick to it. And this is so key. Schedule your downtime. If it's not on the calendar, it's not real. Protect that time like it's your most important meeting of the week, because honestly, it is.
So we've covered 4 powerful pillars today: nutrition, recovery, mindset, and integration. But here's the thing, you don't have to become a master of all of them overnight. Real success is just built on small, consistent actions. So looking at these, I have one question for you. What is the one pillar you're going to start building beginning today?